I never thought a single person could change my entire life. Not once, but twice. The first time, she almost destroyed me. The second time, her sister walked into my world and made me realize maybe, just maybe, life wasn't done with me yet. But let's rewind a little. When I first met her, it felt like stepping into the warmth after being stuck in the cold for too long. She was sharp, charming, and had this magnetic pull that made everyone lean in closer whenever she spoke. And me? I was hooked. I wasn't perfect, but I was genuine. I believed in people, trusted too easily, and never once thought the person I loved most could also be the person who would try to break me down piece by piece. At first, the little things didn't feel like red flags. A sharp comment hidden as a joke. A plan canceled at the last second. Promises that felt real in the moment but disappeared the next day. I told myself, she's just stressed. She'll come around. You know that voice in your head that tries to convince you everything is fine when deep down you know it isn't? Yeah, I listened to that voice far too long. Because slowly, things escalated. What started as teasing turned into control. What started as love turned into manipulation. And every time I tried to push back, I was made to feel guilty, like I was the problem. That's the thing about people who want power over you. They twist reality until you can't tell up from down anymore. And I, blinded by the idea of who I thought she was, let it happen. But then, everything snapped. One night, one moment, made me realize she didn't just want to love me, she wanted to break me. To strip away my confidence, my joy, even the people around me who cared. And the scariest part? I almost let her. That's when her sister came into the picture. Not in some dramatic movie scene way, more like an accident. A random conversation that shouldn't have meant much, except it did. She looked at me differently. Not like I was weak or broken, but like I still had something left in me worth saving. And the crazy part? She saw right through the version of me her sister had sculpted, the one who second-guessed every move, who apologized just for existing. Somehow, in just a few words, she reminded me of the person I used to be before all this. But if you're thinking it was smooth sailing from there now, it was messy, complicated. Because when you're caught between the person who tried to tear you apart and the one person who might just help put you back together, you're walking a line that could snap at any second. And that's exactly what happened the night everything came crashing down. Before everything spiraled, life looked normal, at least from the outside. I had a steady job, a small circle of friends, and a heart that was way too ready to trust. When she came along, it felt like lightning. Fast, electric, impossible to ignore. Her name was Emma, and everyone seemed to adore her. She had that kind of energy that filled a room, the kind that made you believe she could do no wrong. In the beginning, Emma made me feel seen. She laughed at my dumb jokes, asked about my day like it really mattered, and even picked up on the little things, like how I always tapped my foot when I was nervous. For a while, I thought, wow, I've finally found someone who gets me. And honestly, I wanted so badly to believe that was true. But Emma had another side, one she didn't show the world. Behind closed doors, she had this sharp edge, like her words were tiny knives she didn't mind throwing if she thought I was slipping out of her control. It started small. She'd tell me I should dress differently, speak less, act smarter. At first, I brushed it off. Everyone has opinions, right? But then it became constant. My choices, my friends, even my family, nothing was ever enough for her. The worst part? She knew exactly how to twist things to make me doubt myself. If I pushed back, she'd tear up, say I misunderstood, that she just wanted the best for me. And I'd fall for it. Again and again. I kept thinking, if I just try harder, maybe she'll go back to the person I first met. But that version of Emma was slipping further away. Then came her sister, Lily. Lily wasn't anything like Emma. Where Emma was intense and commanding, Lily was calm, almost quiet, but in a way that drew you in instead of pushing you back. She had this steady presence, like she didn't need to prove herself to anyone. I met her by accident, during a family gathering Emma dragged me to. I remember standing awkwardly by the window, wondering how I'd survive the night, when Lily walked over and said, "You don't look like you want to be here." It was such a simple thing, but it felt like she saw straight through me. She wasn't fooled by the version of Emma I had been trying so hard to keep up with. And that unsettled me, because for the first time in months, I felt like someone noticed the cracks Emma had carefully hidden. After that, Lily would show up here and there, always kind, always patient. She never pried, but her presence made me question things I had been trying not to admit to myself. Questions that scared me, because if I faced the answers, I'd have to admit just how far I had let Emma pull me under. And that realization? It was coming sooner than I thought, because Emma was about to push me past a line I didn't even know I had. The cracks in my world weren't just showing anymore. They were splitting wide open. Emma's charm, the mask she wore so perfectly in front of others, became harder for me to reconcile with the version I saw in private. Every conversation felt like a test I was bound to fail. If I said the wrong thing, she'd cut me down with a smirk. If I stayed quiet, she accused me of not caring. Either way, I lost. The confusion ate at me. How could someone who once made me feel like the center of the universe now make me feel invisible? I kept asking myself if I'd changed, if I had somehow become unlovable. And every time Emma caught me doubting myself, she tightened her grip a little more, reminding me that without her, I'd be nothing. But here's where things got complicated. Lily. I never sought her out. But somehow, she always showed up in the exact moments I felt like I couldn't breathe. She didn't push or pry. She just listened. And in her silence, I heard the truth I had been avoiding. This wasn't love. At least, not the kind that builds you. It was the kind that chips away until there's nothing left. Emma noticed. She wasn't blind. She started asking questions about why I was so distant, why I lit up when her sister walked into the room. I tried to brush it off, but she wasn't having it. Her suspicion grew sharper, and so did her control. Suddenly, I wasn't allowed to hang out with certain friends. My phone was always fair game for her to check. She turned every little thing into evidence that I was the problem, that I was betraying her. And yet, in the middle of all that chaos, I caught myself wondering, what if Lily was the lifeline I'd been waiting for? The thought scared me as much as it comforted me. Because if Emma ever found out, I wasn't sure what she'd do. The tension built like a storm cloud I couldn't escape. Every room felt heavy, every word between us sharp enough to cut. And then one night, as I stood in Emma's living room with my phone buzzing in my pocket, I made the mistake of glancing at the screen. Her eyes followed mine. She saw the name. It was Lily. And in that instant, I knew nothing would ever be the same again. The second Emma's eyes locked on Lily's name glowing on my screen, the air in the room shifted. She didn't say a word at first. She didn't have to. Her silence was louder than any scream could have been. My chest tightened, and suddenly even breathing felt like a risk. Why is she calling you? Her voice was calm, too calm. That kind of calm that means something dangerous is brewing just beneath the surface. I scrambled for words. It's nothing. She probably just... Emma snatched the phone from my hand before I could finish. Her eyes scanned the screen, her jaw clenching tighter with every second that passed. She didn't even open the message. She didn't need to. The fact that Lily had reached out at all was enough to ignite the fire. She turned to me, and for the first time, I didn't see the woman I fell for. I saw someone who wanted control, no matter the cost. You think I don't notice? You think I don't see the way you look at her? Her words hit like daggers. I wanted to deny it, to explain that it wasn't what she thought, but deep down, I wasn't sure if that was even true anymore. Because the way Lily looked at me, it had kept me alive in ways Emma never could. Emma stepped closer, her voice dropping lower, sharper. She's trying to turn you against me. My own sister. And you're too weak to even realize it. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. For months, I had swallowed my words, convinced myself I didn't have the right to fight back. But now, with Emma inches away, I could feel something shifting inside me. The part of me she'd tried so hard to erase was clawing its way back. She must have seen it in my eyes, because her expression hardened. Don't even think about it, she hissed. If you walk away from me, I'll make sure you regret it. The threat hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. And for the first time, I believed her. The days that followed were unbearable. Emma shadowed my every move, questioning every call, every text, every second I wasn't with her. It was like she was building a cage around me, bar by bar. And yet, through the cracks, Lily's presence kept finding its way in. A glance across the room, a brief text that somehow slipped past Emma's watch, a quiet reassurance that I wasn't crazy for wanting more than this. The push and pull nearly tore me apart. I couldn't tell if I was more afraid of losing Emma's grip or finally breaking free of it. And as the tension between the three of us built higher, I knew something was about to snap. The night it finally did started with a single knock on Emma's front door. And when I opened it, I froze. Because standing there wasn't who I expected at all. When I pulled the door open, my breath caught in my throat. It wasn't Lily. It was Emma's mother. She stood there with a look I couldn't read, half worried, half furious. And then, in one chilling sentence, she dropped the bomb that shattered everything I thought I knew. I know what Emma's been doing to you, and to Lily. The words didn't feel real at first. My mind scrambled, trying to piece together what she meant, but the weight in her voice told me this wasn't a guess. This was knowledge. Behind me, Emma's footsteps grew louder, her tone sharp as glass. Mom? What are you doing here? Her mother's eyes flicked past me to her daughter. You've gone too far, Emma. This ends tonight. My heart pounded. For months I'd been stuck in Emma's shadow, doubting my own sanity. And now, right in front of me, someone was finally pulling back the curtain. But the look on Emma's face, the cold, dangerous glare she gave her own mother, told me this was only the beginning of a storm I wasn't ready for. And then Emma whispered something under her breath that made my blood run cold. Emma's whisper was barely audible, but I caught it. If you tell him, I'll tell her. Her mother froze. My pulse spiked. There was something in that threat, something layered and dangerous, and I knew in that moment this wasn't just about me anymore. What are you hiding, Emma? I demanded, my voice shaking but louder than I intended. Emma's eyes darted between us, the mask slipping. Don't act like you know anything, she snapped, but the tremor in her tone betrayed her. Her mother stepped forward, tears welling in her eyes. She's been playing you, just like she played Lily. Everything you're feeling, it's real. But she's been feeding off it, controlling it, twisting it. She's done this before. My stomach dropped. Done this before? Suddenly, all the scattered pieces, the manipulation, the threats, the way Lily always looked at me like she knew something I didn't. They all connected in the worst way. Emma laughed, a hollow, bitter sound. You think you're the victim? You're nothing without me. Both of you. That was it. The breaking point. For the first time, I felt the fear burn away, replaced by something sharper, clarity. No, I said, steady now. I was nothing with you. The silence that followed was thick, broken only by Emma's shaky breath. For a moment, I thought she might lash out, scream, do something reckless. But instead, she turned her gaze to her mother, venom dripping from her voice. You always loved Lily more. And now you want to replace me with him. Her mother flinched, and I realized this wasn't just about me. It never had been. This was a wound that had been festering in their family for years. And just when I thought the storm had peaked, another voice cut through the air. Emma, stop. I spun around. Lily stood in the doorway, her eyes blazing, not with fear, but with resolve. She had heard everything. For a second, the world seemed to freeze. Emma glaring at her mother holding her ground, Lily staring at both of them, and me caught in the middle of the wreckage of a family I never fully understood. And then Lily spoke again, her words shattering what little balance remained. It's time they know the truth about you. The room went silent after Lily's words. Emma's face hardened, but she didn't fight back this time. She just stared at us, me, her sister, her mother, with a look I couldn't quite read. Maybe it was anger, maybe it was fear, maybe it was both. Lily stepped forward, steady as ever. You can't keep doing this, Emma. To me. To him. To yourself. It has to stop. For the first time, Emma didn't respond with fire. She just sank into the couch, her shoulders trembling, her eyes dark but tired. And in that moment, I realized something. She wasn't just trying to control everyone else. She was terrified of losing control of herself. Her mother reached for her hand, but Emma pulled away. She didn't scream, she didn't lash out. She just sat there, quiet, her mask finally gone. I don't know what was said between them after that. Maybe it was the start of healing, maybe just another layer of silence. But I knew one thing. My part in her storm was over. That night, I walked outside with Lily. The air felt different, lighter, freer, like I'd been holding my breath for months and finally exhaled. We didn't talk much. We didn't need to. Just being there, side by side, was enough. In the days that followed, things slowly shifted. Emma's mother kept her close, trying to untangle years of buried pain. Lily and I started talking more openly, not about what Emma had done, but about where we wanted to go from here. For once, the future didn't feel like a trap. It felt like possibility. I won't pretend it was easy. There were nights I woke up questioning everything. wondering how I let myself get pulled so far under. But Lily never let me sit in that darkness alone. She reminded me that rebuilding isn't about snapping back to who you were. It's about growing into who you're meant to be. And maybe that's what surprised me most. I didn't just survive Emma. I found a piece of myself I thought I'd lost forever. As for Emma, her story isn't mine to finish. Maybe she'll change, maybe she won't. But I've learned that some people enter your life to break you, and others enter to help rebuild what's left. The choice is figuring out who you let stay. In the end, it wasn't about revenge or proving Emma wrong, or even about what might grow between me and Lily. It was about learning that love, real love, doesn't control or consume. It frees you. So if you take anything from my story, let it be this. Don't mistake someone's grip for care or their control for love. The people who truly care for you don't tear you down. They hold the pieces steady while you put yourself back together. And sometimes, just sometimes, they help you build something stronger than what was broken.